Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
86, episode 2. Oh boy, this show, it introduced a lot of things last episode.
It did quite a bit, yeah.
Characters, factions, technology, characters. And did we say characters yet?
And then also, like, code names.
Right, yeah.
Now, those were kind of more for the eagle-eyed watching checklists of, those in the Republic's military.
Yeah.
We also got very tense types of conflicts. There's some very specific types of discrimination going on here. So that's its own thing as well.
Yeah.
We've also got ourselves a very vague type of technology
that
seems to be being severely underutilized if it's
right
what it is.
Something super advanced that's being used for Discord calls.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's a bit reductive, but
right,
but it's a sussy baka technology.
Very sussy baka. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're watching you.
That's right. Just like the Republic is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, except they're not, because that would be too much.
Right.
Listening. Yeah.
But listening. Right. Exactly.
Yep.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Hey. Like, no, my head was elsewhere.
Yeah.
Oh! Wait.
An old character!
Yeah. Their mechanic. Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
What? Yeah. Yeah.
He's been doing that for a long time.
Yeah. Like, who do you think I am?
Right.
Wow. Yeah. I love that they're all scratched in, so, like,
Yeah.
Whoa. Wait.
Are they talking to the robot?
I think they're talking to the robot. Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
So it's an attack, basically.
Yeah.
No
All
shepherd,
right.
just sheep. Okay.
Okay.
I love that they have their own lingo for a lot of this as well.
And it's cool to see them acting with agency with regards to fighting. Like, not just, oh, go here and do this thing.
Right.
Okay. I love all the miscellaneous sounds for the mechs.
Oh shit, so those things are... Those little things are...
Just sensor jammers, I guess.
Yeah, they're not observation devices specifically, though. Let's see the enemy. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
This is cool exposition for us learning. Okay, the Eintagsflag, yeah. Music change.
Okay.
Squad syncing up. They're all moving in a straight line. Damn.
God, this is so cool.
Oh,
and the
this
music coming in as the missiles come out.
Oh shit. Okay, gotcha. This is how we can also learn their code names as well. Wow!
I'm so happy right now.
I know, me too! What?
What's coming? Airstrike.
Oh, artillery!
Now, he knew that before the warning came in.
Yeah, he
before
got
it
a
hit.
heads up.
Ghosts of the dead looking out for him, maybe?
Or maybe he's able to read the thoughts of the handler before it's spoken. Whoa, okay. Damn. Yeah,
Oh, the
automated
sound of those heavy mags is just...
they have a support bot. That's
okay.
That's their bot that's getting them reloaded and stuff.
Gotcha. Nice. Going after the big one.
Oh my god!
Holy shit!
Jesus Christ!
Holy shit! Oh yeah, and the 3D is perfect for like.
Oh,
the
he's got
particle
blades!
What?
I love that because the guns on them are so powerful. They have to move in between like shot cadence. It very much reminds me of like quick steps in MOBAs or MMOs.
Nice.
No, the Reaper.
Yeah,
That's who it is.
exactly.
Empire of Giad. Okay. So. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so the Legion is the enemy. They won't have to fight them after 2 years. Completely autonomous. Oh, I think people might have a problem with you saying that.
Yeah. How could you? Military police.
Oh yeah.
Right, the win by any means necessary act.
Yeah. Oh shit.
I'm proud of her, but I am.
But what do you think you're going to achieve here?
Something with her dad, maybe.
I feel like
Shit.
Okay, she keeps going. Cool. I'm very curious what the build up to this was like before the fact. Not just interacting with them, but yeah. Baka.
Yeah, are you gonna be okay?
Oh, is that the episode?
I think so, yeah. Oh, wow, there might be a big end credits scene coming up then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a game, nice.
Yeah.
Meaning they're used to also
Incompetent handlers.
Incompetent, yeah.
Right. We look like bad guys. Incompetent bad guys.
From the sounds. And the bot as well is like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck off.
Okay. All right.
Oh. Their fun's over. Yeah.
All the laughter immediately stops. Oh.
Yeah, they're all the same. Right. Yeah, what do you mean joined?
Oh.
Maybe that's the promise, is that once you've done your thing...
Right, then we'll make you a human again.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Wow.
Like that episode
the action
was like delicious, wonderful. Like and the music syncing up with it. It was just
yeah, the music really sold it. I think the visuals and the intense sound design, all of it really came together. This was a really cool way to showcase how you can use 3D and smoke effects to probably make it also really efficient for however this was, produced and made.
Sure.
Because all that smoke and stuff makes it very immersive in that you feel like you're a part of the battlefield.
And it's chaotic
but
and everything.
It's chaotic and dangerous, but also so that we don't necessarily focus too much on little micro details.
Right, we can see
stand out as much.
We can see a general explosion and then bits of shrapnel fly out.
Right.
And it looks great, but we don't have to see the actual pieces coming apart, which would probably be, a lot more difficult to do and have it look right.
But, okay.
All right.
We see how Undertaker, aka Shin, aka the Reaper, handles his squad.
Yep.
And the handlers are also a bit sometimes behind on these kinds of things.
Right.
Not in that they are entirely incompetent, but they generally show a form of incompetence that they're used to. So they're getting no real support before Lena shows up. And then Lena's like, okay, well, here's a good, kind of by-the-book procedure. We'll make sure that we get you guys out of there alive and take as much down to the Legion as possible. But now we have a couple world-building things established after this fight that we maybe had a little bit off in the previous episode.
Right.
One, the Legion
is not their troops.
That's not their
It's the
drones.
other side.
Yeah. It's the Empire of Giad, or what have you, which is hilarious because in a lot of ways, the reason why they're called the Empire, I think, is because, when there was a fight before the 86 were being used in this way, the Republic, if you will, was getting fucking annihilated.
Yep. 2 weeks they were brought to their knees. Okay. So and then the the Empire ended up being destroyed, right, by its own machines, it seemed. And then they kept fighting. So it's like, okay, we're just dealing with the Legion is AI, basically.
Automated. But there's two things wrong with that there. Like, fundamentally wrong. They have no basis as to what happened to the Empire. They did not disclose any reason as to how they know that that's what's going on. Two, because of the lack of communication, what have you, and what's going on with the 86, it doesn't seem like they have also any way of confirming 100% that there is no human element involved. Even if the autonomous bots and what have you are fully autonomous, we don't know why they get orders, like why they go at specific times or what have you. We don't know what they're operating under.
There's lots of things that we still don't know, And there's also other things like, wait, you're telling me that when the Legion was able to bring the Republic to its knees in 2 weeks, they were able to fundamentally change their way of life and make the 86 a thing. Okay, that's a great motivation for why they would do something so drastic. Cool. But they were able to actually set up defenses, repel the attackers, do all of these things, and
Yeah.
interesting.
I will throw out there an idea just because the main issue I have with like kind of there being also like this idea that Lena knows that there's already a false history being taught is that she doesn't necessarily know the true history.
Right, yeah. Why do you believe the things that you think you know now?
What basis do you have for any of that? You probably were just told that by like either Jerome or Vaclav, your father.
Right, like the stuff that she said to the classroom, I liked that from the standpoint of that confirms to us, the audience, that she deeply believes in this kind of stuff that is a truth that is that is looked down upon by the society that she lives in, and she's willing to stand up for it. But we didn't see the stakes and the setup for her going into that classroom.
Yep.
We know why she would say those things, but not for that specific event. And we have not seen the backlash from that event either. So it's and like there was this other dude that was sitting in with her. The military police guy. So it's like, okay, what's going on? What were the thoughts that she had towards that beyond just, I guess, Uncle will get me out of this.
Yeah. So we're missing a lot of vital pieces in the world building of the Republic side of things. But what's going on right now with our Spearhead squadron is really engaging.
Oh yeah.
Because we're getting now a little bit of a better look as to what they've been dealing with for the past odd number of years, because they have not all been here the exact same amount of time, and they also have not been here their entire lives. There are a couple things that we had really clearly established. One is that each one of them has been in here probably from around the same starting age, but is not necessarily been there the same amount of time because they're all different ages, but they are all kids. We had our first adult character in Aldrich, who is very clearly not a combatant on the front lines.
Right.
He is a mechanic.
And he
is probably the one that probably maintains Fido, who very clearly seems to be also an autonomous bot of some kind. So that's its own thing as well.
It's totally possible that maybe there's just someone who isn't listed on the list of like code names that just likes to be in their machine all the time, and it's a different kind. But
I don't think there's any reason for that. I think that makes very little sense.
But then one of the other things that's a bit odd, this was the thing that stood out to me the most, probably world building wise, from this episode. Why is Aldrich the mechanic? These things are very advanced. How is one person able to maintain them?
Well, we don't know that he's the only person. He probably has a team of people.
Sure, but that would seem like the necessary connection point beyond communication from the 86 to the Republic we still need to keep you equipped, right? Like, even if we treat you
that's probably what he does as well. He's probably their quartermaster. He's because they're on the front lines, Jacob. So they can't have an army of support people here because they need to be able to all get into their tanks basically and go and do shit.
Right. And they have the little robots that can help them reload and stuff
while they're on the actual
while they're actual fighting, and that's why that was great stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I think Fido is not a person in there, because that kind of risk of having someone with an unprotected bot basically. That would just be like, if it got hit once, it would probably be done.
Right, because that's the other thing that's kind of interesting. If Fido is a true autonomous robot, Fido also looks visibly to be an obviously older model.
Yes.
So that goes and supplies more the idea that this is the underlying foundational situation of AI just sort of being everywhere. And maybe the people in the Republic don't really know about Fido, or wouldn't, look too kindly on the idea that Fido's being kept around, But
I also want to throw out another idea of something that the Legion is very clearly separated from the Republic's juggernauts in a specific way.
Okay.
We had a very clear date of 9 years ago, there was a war that started. Now, 9 years is a very short amount of time, but in terms of modern warfare, that's a long time to have a war.
Right.
Most wars are over a lot quicker because of the ridiculous efficiency and deadliness of modern weaponry.
Especially given that 2 weeks was enough to almost bring the nation down. So,
right. Which means there has been a bit of a standstill or a lot of skirmishes and not a lot of full-scale invasions. Which means I want to throw out some things that are very odd here. The Legion's military and the way that they look in general... sleeker, nicer, more modern, more updated, more powerful potentially even.
Sure.
But the way that they moved seemed very predictable, very dumb. So, if they are autonomous, it feels weird then that if they have superior numbers, at least in this instance here, but they're so inept in terms of the way that they move, this either shows the effectiveness of Undertaker and his squad.
Which, that is definitely a big part of it.
That was a huge part of it, yes. But it also begs to question, why are we not having, like, necessarily, like, full-scale, like, larger
conflicts,
attacks and stuff like that?
If I were to...
Maybe it's just not happening here, and that's why we're not seeing it.
But if I were to hazard a guess, the biggest explanation that I could think of that would already be established as for why the 2 weeks thing ended up stopping was either because the AI already took over the Republic in secret, or because when the AI took out the empire that had made them, it was something that basically... disrupted them a bit. The Empire fought back, did something, whatever, and so now they aren't as organized, and so that's why the Republic has been able to hold out. Because when I think of 2 weeks, the Republic is going to fall, that's not just because of overwhelming numbers, but that's because of organization. That's because of, a very efficient, critical, well-timed attack, well-oiled machine that just takes you by surprise and you can't keep up with it, right?
Right.
Legion still has numbers, but they're not beating the Republic. That's just not happening. 9 years, from 2 weeks, right? So that makes me think that there's some level...
There's some other element.
Yeah, there's some element, that has made them disorganized or something like that, and that's why they're able to actually, fight toe-to-toe.
Yeah, so right now, I heavily doubt that we're dealing with a rogue AI because of how basic the Legion's kind of attacks and movements are and stuff in that regard. And also, I would think that if the Republic has now fallen back to this very small amount of space or what have you, that an AI would basically go in this single-minded kind of, well, we're going to just take them out or what have you. Unless we're dealing with a much larger global conflict and the Republic is such a small entity that it's not even the focus. Important.
Or if we're dealing with a farm. But
or I want to deal with the other kind of thing there, because I would say, primarily speaking, this is what makes the most engaging stories, is that your enemy is human. Your enemy is actually some kind of human element, and we either shouldn't be fighting the Legion at all, or the motives of the Legion are something that are very important that we need to find out quickly. Because I very much feel the themes of needless war here, where many people that should not be dying are dying, not just because it's war, but because the 86 have been so entirely royally fucked by the way that this is set up. So I question the validity not only of the war itself being a war, but whether or not there is a just an autonomous, machine army that they're dealing with, because that's just, it's too simple, and it's also like
they'd lose.
They would lose. It's the kind of thing where I don't even think that either they would have no conflict at all, or they would be so entirely just destroyed because we're in the 22nd century.
And there would be a third week, and that would be it.
And if maybe this is a thing they're just trying to kind of also pull back our expectations a little bit with regards to the sci-fi elements, is that we're in a post-apocalyptic sci-fi universe.
Right, but the
where
apocalypse was 9 years ago.
Well, not necessarily that. Like,
Okay.
meaning that it's that war has basically stalled a lot of the progression of like specific things, and we're focusing all of our technology on just being able to communicate mentally with our little devices that we've got attached to people's ears and stuff like that. But yeah, some very serious things are like, rather than seeing them as plot holes or what have you, it feels like glaring like red flags for the world building of like, this is all entirely wrong.
This is foreshadowing, right?
This is foreshadowing.
Yeah, like the other thing that really surprised me that I thought might contribute to Lena having an incomplete view of history is the idea that 9 years ago, the way that they differentiated between the 86 and the people that would be in the Republic is who had the white hair. And they
called them the Alba.
The Alba, right. Which, okay, but like, so, but we still don't have an explanation of why they have white hair. Yeah. That's a benefit in how they end up segregating. Cool. But like,
yeah,
how did that come about? You know, like,
yeah, I think it's basically the most basic form of human.
We look different, so therefore we're better.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's primarily just a very basic, boring.
This is anime,
difference.
So it can just be that there are people in this world with white hair. It doesn't have to be something where they specifically like engineered a subgroup of people to have.
Well, no, that's the thing. That could have happened, but that could have been so long ago, and that it had nothing to do with the war as to why they genetically modified.
Right, it could have just been that like that was something that the wealthy did because that was in style, and then hey, everyone that couldn't do that or didn't do that, you know.
Yeah, we're far enough ahead in the future. And given that the time backwards that the war started
is still
so far ahead in the future, there could have been a huge amount of societal changes that are just implied by the way that certain things are done here. Yeah. That it's like, oh yeah, that's just a thing. Okay.
The other thing that seems kind of not fun, but is the fact that given that when you think of 86 and then the 85 other sectors, right? That seems like the 86 are, the minority, a small group, right? You know, we'll sacrifice them. No, that's like a huge, that's like
everybody else.
Everybody else. Like a huge ass meat shield, basically, of just you guys are out there and they'll have to get through you to get to us, right? And you guys want to survive. You don't want to die. So we'll supply you so you can continue to fight them, you know?
Right.
Because you don't, you're invested in that.
But I don't think the Republic's thought ahead unless they're intentionally only giving them shitty equipments for this reason, is that when the war is over, because, you know, they'll just shut down in 2 years. You know, that'll just happen, right? What do you think would happen if you've been arming this large group that's your military that has the ability to, through special technology, theoretically communicate across amazing distences, and then just turn around and go, and then suddenly,
hey, you guys kind of fucked us for the past 9 years.
I think we're gonna run things from now on. That's a very reasonable assumption to make, and I would be surprised if the leaders of the Republic have not already put a plan in place for this.
So what?
And I'm really disturbed in my imaginations as the things I've come up with as to what they could be.
What I'm guessing is that there's something. So there seem to be a couple potential lies established, right? Not just in the histories and stuff, but present day promises that are not going to come true.
One, you'll become a Republic citizen.
Right. The other is that the robots will shut down, right? That seems like the most obvious one. Like, what if they just don't shut down? Oh no, we're fucked, you know.
Yeah, what was your info on that?
Right, what was your exactly. If it is something that's done by some AI or whatever, and they seem to still be able to have numbers that are like unending, you know, and all of that stuff, right?
Maybe if it's autonomous, maybe the machines building machines, they can't actually, build themselves. They're literally battle bots. None of them seem to have,
But that would mean that they're starting numbers would have had to have been so high that even after 9 years of fighting, with the Republic being able to potentially replenish its juggernauts,
I see what you're saying.
The enemy forces do not dwindle, right?
Or maybe it's just been such a bloodbath of the 86, everybody else,
right?
That it's just taken a really fucking long time to make advances through all this territory,
right? But like it's one of the
odds are they're not entirely surrounded, Like there's a possibility that like the Empire's primarily attacking from like 2 or 3 directions, primarily, cardinally. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
But as far as the turning against them thing, I can
Yeah.
totally see it being something where it's like yes, you will become a citizen, you will be baked, and then there will be cake. Like cool, just come on over. And then that way you get rid of the most experienced people that might have those ideas, right? And then it's a promise to everyone else that stays behind of, no, you're almost there. You can do it. You're gonna be one of us after this. And then it's just pop, Yeah.
I'm wanting to throw out another theory kind of on that line here. One of the things that's rather interesting about the way the Empire is, not the Empire, the Republic is run, is that while they have their false history that they're propagating, because it's only been 9 years.
You can't erase the history that came before.
Yeah, meaning like every single adult knows exactly what's going on.
Theoretically, even a lot of the 86 that are fighting, because even if they're teenagers, it's like, oh, I was 6 or 7, but maybe I still remember some of the stuff.
Well, yeah. But my point,
especially the adults.
Yeah. So I'm talking about specifically in the Republic.
Oh, gotcha.
All the adults know exactly what's going on. They lived through it.
Right.
They probably are all scared silly of the Empire. But that calls into question, I would say, basically the possibility of most of the adults being the ones that are the biggest threats to the Republic.
Sure.
Because they could harbor all kinds of animosity towards a group of people that potentially ostracized extended family, friends, coworkers,
they could
loved
have
ones.
They could have
all
much
kinds of
more
things there.
interesting and dramatic things to say potentially if they were to speak at a history class.
Yes, a lot more. And I will also throw out something here that I feel like is very, very sus as well. Is that, let's say you go back 9 years, right?
Yep.
Most of the people, I'm guessing, that were involved with all the high-level stuff for the security of this nation or what have you, were probably a diverse group. It was not necessarily all of one race. Or
Right, exactly. Before the segregation happens,
Yeah. Now, there's a possibility that things were just super racially just disgusting beforehand as well.
Right.
And this is just the
cherry on top.
This is just the, we put them into camps immediately after that. Because of course we did. We're evil people. Now, I want to throw out the possibility, though, that even if things were really, really horrible before then, I'll bet you there was at least 1 or maybe 2 people that were very, very important in the scheme of things here.
That did not have the white hair.
And did not have the white hair.
Yeah.
What did they do with those people? I'll bet you they couldn't have just been like, hey, kicked out, go away.
Yeah.
Because they'd have secrets. They'd have knowledge of tech.
Well,
and we've already established that there's a tech-based thing with Para-Raid that they don't even fully understand. And I want to throw out the idea that the reason they don't even necessarily fully understand it is because some of the people that were involved in making it were 86.
That would
and
be
thus
crazy.
They weren't. They're not here anymore.
Right.
They were either killed in their homes or something.
But we can't. Yeah, right, exactly. And if they weren't, and this kind of goes hand in hand with if the promise of you'll be, full Republic citizens is actually true, then that means they do have a process by which they make people Alba, right? They give them the white hair, they do some genetic thing or other,
and it's all a lie,
or it's all a lie. In which case, there's a lot of questions and consequences and conflicts that come up as a result of that.
Yeah, I'm leaning more into the it's all a lie, or it's the no, you become a citizen, but why would we let you back in here?
Right,
You get citizen rights. Cool.
Do you want to go honorary?
Do you want to go to the
Britannia,
special camp now? We don't kill you there, but we don't even give you good running water.
It's something where once. I'm curious if the 86 actually believe any of the shit.
I don't think they do.
That's
why they're shooting cans with pigs on them.
Right. And yet at the same time, they have the countdown to what I'm guessing is. What it seems to be is Shin's end of service.
Shin's final time.
Not the actual shutdown of the Legion. So...
Right, that's why it's a lot sooner. It's something that's happening in, 200 and...
or 130 days or something like that.
129 days. Yeah,
129
exactly.
days, yeah.
So, yeah, cool. But all right, that's our setup here.
Crazy shit in this world.
Slowly getting introduced to the characters. I like that they're really just focusing on Shin right now because we can't afford to just go in and suddenly get introduced to 6 characters in one episode. But we did slowly start to get names, which we can then attach to code names for their processor
And also,
unit.
given that the Republic is so sterile and kind of uninteresting in a way, we don't need to spend much time on it with the characters there and things like that.
Yeah,
because
just Lena.
Just Lena, because we know the kind of lives that they live. It's not very interesting. They do their work, whatever, in the clean and washed cubicles or whatever, and that's it, right?
Yeah, maybe have Annette there, maybe have Jerome.
Right, but for the most part, we can focus on the 86 with, their games and laughing and all of that stuff where there's so much vibrancy and color and all of that. But
I am very, very curious if this is a story about what happens after the war primarily. And this is kind of the prologue to lead up to that point where then revolution happens and everything goes crazy. And then we realize that the Legion maybe wasn't the actual problem here.
Exactly.
And they're just like the advanced forces of something, bigger or what have you. Because I really feel like they're wanting to establish this Lena Shin kind of bond, and that while they don't have any reason to be able to have any kind of real relationship, not even talking about romantic or anything like that, but actual relationship here, that humanity will survive this, but humanity doesn't really realize in dividing itself, at least in this instance here, maybe what they're up against, and what they're potentially able to lose if they don't fix this shit.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that there was a rogue AI and it just moved to the Republic, and it's keeping everyone occupied with external threats, so they don't look too closely at what's happening.
Oh yeah. They're just stuck here. Somewhere else on the globe, there's something else that the rogue AI is actually dealing with. And stuff. And that's why the cloud of electronic disruption things are actually
that's the scariest shit that we've seen.
That's the scariest shit.
Forget the drone or the actual on the ground, tanks and all that stuff. It's very cool, but
there's two things. There are two things also world building wise that I'm very curious to see if they bring up. One is satellites, because I want to see global observation technology. 2, how much those things potentially disrupt said global observation. Because if it's the thing of where they're no, we can only really see about 500 miles in every direction from the farthest X district of the Republic that is the 86's territory, and that's based on reports that they give us, or positional radar installations that they put up or something. Because if they don't have satellites, there's a possibility that there's shit going on in the world that they have no ideas what's going on.
Those swarms, that is the most terrifying, Scream Starforge kind of shit, where it's they have some kind of production that just is cranking and does not slow down, does not take breaks. It's just constantly spitting these things out so they can send, millions of them into the sky just to make it so that you can't use radar.
Right, and that's another thing. The idea that they would shut down in 2 years also doesn't make sense, considering the idea of them having multiple types of bots.
Right. Do all of them have the same 50,000 hour lifespan or whatever?
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
that's not how that would work.
I find it hard to believe that the big tanks with the big guns would run for the same amount of time as the little flyers. It's
come on. Again.
Yeah. Maybe that's just the propaganda to keep the...
Yeah, exactly. Again, is this the flaw in the world building, or is this foreshadowing of something? We'll have to see. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.